Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another analysis video. Today we're taking a look at Fabrice Jeannet, one of the best fencers of all time, a really classic, tall, lanky French gripper from France. Expect to see a lot of precision in placement and distance and not a lot of blade work. Just slow movement and then all of a sudden he's got his light on. Before we get started, please do check out my sponsor, Facklingen.de, for blades, caliber, wireless fencing gear, individual analysis from top fencers such as Alexandra Ehler. Go check out the Patreon if you like what I do. All the support helps a lot. The database costs quite a bit to maintain every month. If you have questions or you have fencers you want me to talk about, come join us on the Discord. All those links are in the description. And without further ado, let's get started. This is about from back in 2005, and I could honestly spend a couple of hours talking about it, and I might not, see. But just Fabrice Jeannet on the right, working through the distances. It's 1 into distance, 2 to the wrist, and then 3 somewhere else. And there you see it already. He was 1 into distance, and Murch reacts to that first one, so it's an easy blade take into 4 for Jeannet. Fabrice is working on 3 distances: the slow prep in, then 2 to the hand, then 3 to the body or the foot or the counter. And Murch has been working on 2 distances right now, which means he's reacting too soon. Easy disengage for Jeannet. Quick touch. It's going to be a lot of things like that from Jeannet, where he's just out of distance for anything Murch wants to do. So even when Murch tries, he misses. He's really got to commit and make the right prediction, where Jeannet's distance control is such that he can just react to whatever Murch is doing, whether it's with a disengage or a counterattack, like that. Going to see a lot of that, where Fabrice comes in with his arm down, Murch flushes out of distance because he sees Fabrice coming in with his arm down, and then counterattack for Jeannet. One of the things to look at is Jeannet's arm, where he's manipulating the distance not only with his feet, but with his arm. He's in that really classic old school absence of blade with his hand way down by his knee. You don't see it much anymore, certainly not as often as Jeannet is doing it, because fencers fence closer nowadays, and you just don't have time to get your hand back. Really good timing there for Murch, seeing that Jeannet is distracted by trying to set something up. Goes right in and catches him by surprise. So you see, Jeannet starts here in absence, comes in with his arm back, brings it up to take even more distance without committing with his feet, trying to draw a reaction. If he doesn't get it, he resets. And Murch is just not willing to push Jeannet back. So if Jeannet's not coming forward, Murch can't really hit him. Jeannet pushing, slow, small step, big step. Same thing, 3 touches in a row. It's something with the blade to pull Murch off, and then flicking 4. It's even a flicking preen, holy cow. And not a lot you can do if you're going to let a guy like Jeannet control the distance the way he is. Better for Murch as he's starting to threaten the hand more. And Jeannet has not reacted at all to any of the hand preps. So it was 1 to the hand and then 2 low. Just continuing on. One of the truisms of fencing is that if your opponent is retreating, the leg is the last thing to move. So if you're going for a remise into a retreating opponent, leg is a good option for target, because it'll be there longer.
La punta di Murch è arrivata prima.
Murch is not as active with his blade as Jeannet is, and it's making life easy for Jeannet. Whenever they're in any kind of engagement distance, Murch's
carica questo
arm is way
affondo
out.
portato
Jeannet, you
al
can
meglio
see,
le
as we've talked
sue
about,
lunghe leve,
is back by his knee, then
dei
it's
risultati
up, then it's
veramente
out, then
di
it's
grande
back by his
classe, con
knee.
grande anticipo,
Because Murch's
punta
is
sempre
always
avanti,
out,
crea davvero grosse
it's easy
difficoltà ai suoi
for
avversari.
Jeannet
Ora
to
una
engage
stoccata
with it
7-2.
as he wants.
52 secondi, rivediamo la bloccata.
Poor timing there
Comunque
from
di,
Murch, steps deep into
gestire
it,
l'incontro,
but not deep enough, gives Jeannet
tentare
time to
i
react
ritmi
with the
di questo
counterattack,
assalto, il
and then
campione
tries to remise and kind of runs
francese,
himself onto the point, but he had lost it before then.
29enne Merck,
To
25
down
anni
tip
come
up, going
Jeannet,
for
che
the
è
arm. They're a
più
little bit
giovane
closer
di
now, so now
Jeannet,
it's only one
che ha
tempo to the
appena
hand.
29 anni. Jérôme, sempre molto pulito, anche bello a
And
vedere.
Jeannet, at this point, has a
Jeannet
really good
proprio
idea of
dal
what
punto
his
di
game
vista
plan is going to be.
stilistico. Adesso è Merck a toccare,
He's
a
going to
mettere
go
segno alla
for
porta, si
safe
porta
shots
a
like that, even though
26
that one
secondi al
was a
termine di questa
miss,
prima manche.
and then try
Ha
to
cercato
draw
il
Murch
bersaglio
into some kind of a
basso il
counterattack.
francese, non l'ha trovato, e quando è tornato in guardia invece è partito Merck,
That one was good because
l'ha
Murch really
toccato e
committed to
ha
it,
tenuto questa volta bene la
and
misura
Jeannet
il
was quite expecting
norvegese.
it.
Non è arrivata la
It's going to be
stoccata
difficult to make
al
that
piede.
reliable because he's
Ricordiamo, nella
attacking from
spada
so
il
far
bersaglio
away.
valido è tutto il corpo, quindi dalla testa ai piedi si può colpire ovunque
You don't want to have to do two
l'avversario.
big steps to get to your opponent.
Adesso sono 4
Here
le
we see
stoccate
Jeannet pushing, but with
di
his arm
vantaggio
up this
di
time,
Jeannet,
looking
che
for
sembra
probably another
comunque
low line
amministrare
or another
bene
blade
l'incontro.
disruption.
Siamo al primo minuto.
When he comes in with his
di
arm
pausa
down,
sul
when he
punteggio
steps
di
forward with his arm
7-3
down, he's looking
per
for a counterattack. There's
che il tabellone
when he
segnala
steps in with
giusto.
his arm up, he's looking for some kind of an offensive action,
Jeannet,
which
tabellone
you
in
know,
alto.
and I know, and Murch knows, and probably everybody watching
Ai
knows.
schermi,
But Jeannet isn't trying to win through trickery.
vedete sulla
He's trying to
sinistra,
win through just being a better fencer and having better control of the distance,
prende
which is much harder to beat,
norvegese, colpo doppio.
as you see a double
Colpo
there.
doppio, tipico della spada.
Because if you can
8-4.
figure out a trick,
Non
you
cambia
figured out
nulla.
the trick. But if you know what he's doing to
Una
you,
partenza del
then
norvegese,
and you just don't have the skill to
è
do
un
it, where you have
colpo
to go
doppio, è
practice
rimasto
for
in
another
linea
3 years.
Jeannet, quindi si sono accese contemporaneamente le due luci. Ricordiamo la caratteristica soltanto della spada,
Safe though,
si assegnano una
because he's
stoccata
engaged the
ciascuno
blade,
e favorisce
because it's out there for
in
him
quel
to
momento
take.
in vantaggio, perché si porta più vicino
Murch can't do
all'arrivo
anything, so it's
stoccata,
1, 2,
mantenendo
3,
comunque
and Murch manages to
il
avoid getting
vantaggio
hit,
di 4
but
stoccate in questo
Jeannet
caso.
got 3 attacks at that, 3 tries for it, and Murch got none. So that's just a complete win for Jeannet, even though he didn't get the touch.
Nonostante le 4 stoccate di differenza, ma c'è ancora molto.
A little bit better for Murch, making Jeannet work for that one, but still not really close to getting the light on.
Non vuole esporsi naturalmente.
Or maybe he was and his blade stopped
tecnicamente
working.
all'avversario Merck.
No, he's not really close. He's caught up in the 6th to cream. That's always a fun one. Somebody's attacks, he takes 6, you transfer into cream for an in-fight touch.
Si può evidentemente il Merck non si fidava molto della sua arma, pensava che non segnalasse al meglio la stoccata, così per togliersi ogni dubbio.
Jeannet going low, trying to draw out exactly that.
Al piede Merck,
Faint low from out of distance, opponent counters,
Jeannet,
counterattack high,
non
it's
fa
such a
trovare
good
il
touch, it's
bersaglio,
so fun to
rimanere là
get.
con la punta e
My first coach shot me that and then I hit him with it and it was
appunto così per togliersi ogni
moment.
dubbio ha cambiato l'arma. Mi sembra che comunque
So Fabrice is just looking around, looking around.
non dia
One of his big weapons in this bout that I don't think we've talked about yet is his long lunge.
Sì, sempre centropedana,
He's able to disengage through parries and time things well enough that his long lunge is a legitimate threat. So Murch has to stay away or really commit to an attack if he doesn't want to get hit by it. And that causes things like that to happen, whereas because he's so far back from the lunge, he flushes him out of distance.
Vediamo quanto è importante la misura, parte
And it's the same thing we talked about before. Jeannet is coming in with his arm down.
un piccolo passo indietro del
Murch sees
francese
that easy
che
counter for
lascia
Jeannet.
ancora l'arma in linea e
Because he's
arriva
out
sul
of distance,
bersaglio toccando
because
e
Jeannet is
anticipando
constantly threatening, because
Merck.
Jeanet's range is
Molto
longer.
bravo Jeannet, un maestro
Really,
nella
just a
misura,
complete
un maestro
overpowering
nell'anticipo,
to this
nello
point in the
svincolo, davvero
bout.
molto bravo questo schermitore.
Abbiamo visto anche la naturalezza in scioltezza, ha messo
Easy,
questa
safe hand
stoccata
shot.
con il grande senso
Good
di
one
misura
there
che lo
from
contraddistingue,
Murch.
come sottolineava Stefano
Still a little
Passaro.
bit out of distance, but he had his blade, his bell in the right place to block out Jeanet's counter as he comes in, letting him get the single light.
Un minuto al termine di questa seconda manche.
Now it's just
Ancora
all the way
Jeannet.
in, hand back.
sta chiamando
And it's just
l'avversario
too easy for
è
Jeannet
andato
to get that
avanti,
touch.
ha
You
chiamato,
should be able to see it.
provoca,
Look, his
parte
arm
in
is totally
attacco,
bent. He's
torna
jumping
indietro,
forwards,
vedete come scioglie
but he's
misura
far
e
enough
lascia
back that
ancora
he
lì la
knows he can get
punta.
the counter up in
Poi è
time.
molto bravo perché non forza mai la stoccata, riesce sempre a portarla
That
allungando il
one's kind of just
braccio
a
e
panic touch
non
from Merch.
forzando con la spalla.
There's no setup, there's no nothing. He's just
Potrebbe
hoping for a
far
touch.
cambiare la
Really,
traiettoria
the last
alla
several have been
punta.
like that.
Davvero molto bravo anche in questo caso.
Merch is trying to find the timing for a single light, but he's way too far away from that. Even at the distance that people fenced back then. Now Jeannet's just right back into absence and he's out again. And an easy hand touch.
Che scioltezza di polso, 13-5 più 8, davvero sembra ormai compromesso il match per il norvegese.
Oh,
Questa è una
okay.
stoccata
I
da
thought we were going to get a
manuale,
replay there.
stoccata a portata di fluetto, facendo appunto vibrare la lama e arrivando di punta.
Now we see a little bit of a change in the bout. It's 13-5 and Fabrice gets a little bit lazy as he pushes.
Il gioco di polso di Jeannet ha fatto sì che comunque la
Merch
punta
is a little bit more willing to hang out in distance.
sul bersaglio con quella pressione.
And that was really good. That's the best search Merch has all about.
Vibrare la lama e
He's
arrivando
willing
di
to
punta,
stay in
chiaramente
distance,
sul pugno
and he's
dell'avversario.
reacting appropriately, which is important, and he's not overcommitting to the counter. He knows by now that Fabrice can hit those counters. Better threats to the hand, he's staying closer, even with his arm out. And Fabrice feints an attack, or a shallow attack, either way, amounts to the same thing. Merch comes forward with it. Fabrice immediately jumps back and counters as he's been doing this whole bout. But this time Merch hasn't committed to his attack. So he's ready and waiting to take the parry, they get blades caught up, but Merch has the initiative so he gets the touch. Fabrice is now pushing and pushing and pushing. And he's letting Jeannet he's letting Merch stay closer and closer. And Merch is more comfortable there than he's been the whole bout. I think he got that? I'm not sure. I don't think so. No, he didn't get that one. It's late. More comfortable at the short distance than he's been all bout. We're not seeing any of the long lunges from Fabrice that he used so well in the first half. There's no more blade engagements, there's no more blade disruptions like we saw for the first few touches. So quite a bit of a shift in the nature of the bout as Merch has found his courage and found his distance. Fortunately, he only has 2 touches to give and he's got 8 to go. Good there, same kind of deal as his 6th touch. Merch is just finding the first blade, finding the second blade, and then scoring without overcommitting. And that was actually a really nice shot to the hand right there, as you can see it. Jeannet's still hanging out in absence. Previously in the bout, we'd see him go for the foot, but he's not feeling it now. We'd see him go 1-2 to the hand, but he's not feeling it now. Merch's blade is a little bit more active. He's smoother and threatening the hand with a short extension. And that's making Jeannet think a little bit more. Same deal, Jeannet's coming in with his arm back. Merch is coming forward, Jeannet's trying for the counterattack. But this time he's not overcommitting into the attack, and that's letting him deal with it. And there's the low line, but Merch is already out of distance. But it was set up for the next touch. He goes low, Merch moves back. And then there's the same blade engagement, blade disruption into flip 4 that got the first bunch of touches.
Ha cercato prima il colpo alla mano e proseguendo poi sul corpo del suo avversario è rimasto sorpreso.
You can see how Merch is just not.
Di difendersi.
If Merch stays at long distance and Jeannet is willing to put in the work to keep him there, Merch doesn't have anything. It's only when Jeannet lets him in that Merch can start doing things.
Formalità questo incontro. Tanto c'è una
and that's another one where Jeannet's coming in with his arm down looking for the counter. But this time, Merch counters to short target and manages to get the touch before Jeannet's counter goes in. The psychology is very important, but sometimes it's just technique to be able to hit the arm there.
Merck sia
But it's all the
abbastanza
same. Jeannet
rassegnato
coming with his
in
arm
questo,
back, drawing out Murch's
in questo
attack.
momento
Same thing there, but
dell'assalto.
Jeannet backs off, doesn't
Tenta,
counter.
tenta con
That
successo
time he does
adesso
counter again. Murch is ready for it.
un attacco che
You can see
arriva avversario, sembra
how
un po'
this game plan is built,
fermo
right?
Jeannet, forse
You can see
sicuro.
how this bout is evolving around this core interaction of Jeannet coming in with his arm back and Murch closing the distance in response, whether that's with an attack and Jeannet counters, whether that's just with an aggressive step and Jeannet counters and Murch gets the parry riposte, whether that's with an aggressive step, Jeannet doesn't counter and so they reset. Whether that's, I can't even remember if this has happened, Murch does an attack and Jeannet's ready for just an aggressive step and Murch hits. Whether that's, these are just variations that could happen. Jeannet counters, Murch does a strong 2 steps forward, Jeannet keeps retreating. There's lots of variations off the same core interaction of Jeannet stepping in and how the distance changes to make that easier or harder for one fencer or the other.
Di avere il match in mano, ha cercato di sciogliere misura, ma questa volta non è stata sufficiente il suo passo indietro, è arrivata comunque la punta
Now
di
it's a 14-9, so that's a 4-for-1 trade for Murch, which is pretty good. And that's it, where he's coming forward and just there's no counter this time, so he can't do anything. Now we see Jeannet moving to the secondary game plan of threatening the hand and the foot, and then using that to set up for a long 2-tempo blade disruption lunge.
Forse per sferrare l'attacco finale decisivo per chiudere il match e conquistare la finale. Ancora Murch.
And there's an excellent counterattack from Murch. It's the first time I've seen him really successfully deal with Jeannet's offensive options.
Colpo alla mano Jeannet, invece è arrivato al bersaglio
Jeannet
avanzato,
was going hand,
con una bella stoccata
leg or
con un bel
something,
gioco di pugno,
and Murch read it, stepped back,
giusto, ha sciolto
fantastic
l'usura,
counter
ha
to the
evitato il
hand.
colpo alla mano del suo avversario, è riuscito invece lui a toccarlo. Bravo.
I'm not sure why Jeannet didn't go for a blade disruptive beat there, but maybe he did and Murch managed to disengage it. Maybe he did and Murch just pulled back too far for it to do anything.
183 tiratori, rappresentanti di 60 nazioni, come al solito molto.
Now they're both just sniffing at each other's hands. Jeannet knows he needs one more touch and he's really trying to get it. And there it is with the counter for the double. A good bout by both fencers. 15-11 is not horrible. Excellent beginning of a comeback. Fun bout. A lot more to talk about when it comes to the distance management and how the longer distance plays into Jeannet's 3-tempo actions that you would never really see nowadays, where it's step in, threaten hand, hit body, step in, threaten hand, threaten leg, step in, threaten hand, something. Where now the step in and the hand threaten have been merged because people are so much closer now. You see a lot more people of them backing off and resetting and then coming back in. And that's been a pretty continuous trend from at least Harmenberg up till now, where basically people only back off a little bit and are always in engagement distance. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if there's somebody else you'd like to see. Otherwise, have a nice day.